Welcome to another episode of Have You Seen It? I am Charles, and I am with the lovely Denise. How you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Audience, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Denise is headphone free today.
I'm free.
She's got freedom. We're going to get into this thing. Denise, what movie are you recommending to our audience this week?
I am recommending the movie The News of the World, starring one of my favorite actors, Tom Hanks, and a young girl by the name of Helena, or Helena, however it is pronounced, Kango. And this movie takes place in 1870, so it's 5 years post-Civil War. And Tom Hanks plays war veteran Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, and he is a storyteller who travels throughout Texas giving people the news of the world. So whatever is happening in the world, he's meeting the townspeople in a common place. Sometimes it's a barn, it may be a church, and he's just telling them basically what's going on in the world. And they're loving it. They're paying 10 cents to hear these stories. And as Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd is traveling across Texas, he crosses paths with a young girl by the name of Joanna. And she is an orphan who, for the past 5 or 6 years, has been raised by the Kiowa people. And he has the task of returning her first to the government because he's got to keep it moving. And now he's found this little girl who's all by herself. So he takes her to the government. She's got her papers with her. And the government says, this is nice, blah, 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 but she belongs with family, and she's got an aunt and an uncle somewhere in Texas, and you need to take her to them because this is not what we do. So good luck and bye-bye. So reluctantly, Tom Hanks's character takes this orphan child on a very long journey across Texas to find her a family and a home where she belongs. And the journey comes with tremendous circumstances, natural disasters, and also circumstances from enemies that they come across, humans who are trying to cause them harm and so forth. They don't speak each other's language, but in their travels, they learn how to communicate and how to bond because at this point, each other is all that they have. So I found it very heartwarming. And if you're familiar with the movie True Grit, starring John Wayne, and then again, Jeff Bridges, it's that type of Western movie. So it's not a big shoot 'em up, bang, bang kind of movie, but a very heartwarming story with phenomenal cinematography. So that is my recommendation, News of the World, starring Tom Hanks.
So my recommendation this week is Moxie, starring Haley Robinson and Amy Poehler. Okay, so this is a high school drama, and our main character, Vivian, who's played by Haley Robinson. All right, so one day she just got fed up with the sexist and bias that was going on. It was happening right there in her classroom. So inspired by her mother, who was a rebel herself when she was younger, and that her mother's played by Amy Poehler, Vivian anonymously created an underground newspaper called Moxie. And what this paper was doing was exposing the wrongdoing that was happening in her school. Well, this paper, which she just created out of just being frustrated, right, turned into this movement uniting all the young ladies and men in the school that had been bullied, harassed, uh, been, discriminated just because of their sex. All right. And they just banded together and said, hey, we are no longer going to, take this injustice, and we ain't going to sit quiet anymore. And this is all because of this newspaper that she started underground secretly. So my recommendation, which is a Netflix original, right, is Moxie. Check it out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Who is your nailed it?
My nailed it this week is none other than Matt Damon in the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley. And basically, in this movie, Matt Damon does a really, really good job of assuming the identity of another person. And the duality that he portrays influences the decisions and the actions of everybody he comes in contact with. So his whole thing is, I want to be somebody else, and I'm going to lie, steal, murder in order to do this. And each person that I come in contact, your life is going to be turned upside down because of me. And he does a phenomenal job of that. And this is a movie that I had to watch more than once because I missed little key elements of the movie. That is my nailed it. Matt Damon, the talented Mr. Ripley, he was very talented in this role. And what's your nailed it?
So my nailed it, Denise, for this week is Matthew McConaughey as Eddie or Ed in Ed TV. This this is literally a kind. This movie was literally a forerunner to the Simple Life, the Kardashians, right? And it follows this guy Ed. He is a plain old guy that's a video store clerk. You know how old this movie is. No video stores around anymore. Right? And they just follow him around, and he becomes famous just because of his life. It's just his plain old life, right, that made him famous. And Matthew McConaughey pulled this off brilliantly with his smooth Texas demeanor. So my nailed it is Matthew McConaughey as Ed in Ed TV.
All right, folks, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that like button. And we are available on every podcast platform in the universe. Just type in, "Have you seen it?" with Charles and Denise, and there we will be.
Thank you, audience, for joining us for another episode of Have You Seen It with my homegirl, Denise, and yours truly, Charles. And we are out.
Bye-bye.